In the red corner, standing at a towering 6 feet 5 inches tall and weighing in at a dangerous 227 pounds, Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis is one such boxer. He is very successful as an amateur, undefeated, ranked as high as #4 in the world as a professional.
Fresh off conquering the amateur world by winning Olympic gold, where he stopped none other than Riddick Bowe, Lewis entered the professional ranks with the hopes of a nation on his broad shoulders. Unbeaten in 14 fights with 12 brutal knockouts, Lennox wasn't just a rising star, he was being shaped into Britain's long-awaited answer to America's heavyweight dominance. But standing in the opposite corner was an undefeated animal, guarding Lewis' path, Gary Mason.
Well, Mason, a little too powerful for Notice. In a sparring session, he broke one of Notice's ribs and immediately was given the opportunity to replace him.
A juggernaut at 6 feet 1 inch, tipping the scales at 235 pounds with a staggering 35 wins with 32, ending with Mason unleashing hell on his opponents. Mason was the established king of the local scene. Beloved for his raw strength and fighting spirit, he had battered his way to the top of British boxing and had notable victories over James Tillis and Tyrell Biggs. This wasn't just a clash of unbeaten records, it was a crossroads for British heavyweight boxing itself.
When I get really mad, I just look at this picture and see a smile on Mason's face, holding up the belt. Well, I'm gonna wipe that smile off his face and take away that belt, because that belt's mine.
A battle to decide who would carry the flag into the world stage and who would be left behind. We join our fighters in the spring of 1991 under the bright lights of Wembley Arena, where the roar of the crowd carried the hopes and fears of a nation, and two unbeaten warriors prepared to decide who would step into the world spotlight.
Very much at stake. He has the reach if he uses the left hand properly, and that presumably will be the tactic. Not clear who has the heavier punch. Mason going in with his head down. Lewis the faster of the two men. Neat little right uppercut from Lewis, and Lewis getting the early accurate punches in. Of the two men. Lewis pulling Mason onto him. Big swinging punches, but he needs to be a little bit away from swinging. Lewis well covered up with his arms in close as Mason tries to find his body. Lewis. That's a beautiful right uppercut from Lewis as Mason advanced. No question at the moment, Lewis has scored all the early points. It's disturbing, I think, for Mason. But towards the end of the round, he got a good dig in.
Hurry up.
And again. Left hand of Lewis. Finds it. That's a good thump from Mason into the ribs of... There's Mickey Duff, the manager of Mason, looking slightly anxious. Seeing his man boxed at long range, getting picked off. Lewis has looked the much... The superior speed and reach is telling at the moment. Go for one. Hell of a haymaker. That's a bit of right hand from Mason. He lowered his arms, he shrugged his shoulders. And I think he was a wee bit hurt. That's a better jab from Mason. Similar pattern to the first round. His eye problems and spent some months not knowing whether he'd ever be able to box again. 20 years ago, this very month, that Henry Cooper and Joe Bugner fought the last fight of Cooper's career. Lewis not moving quite so smoothly now as he was at the start, and Mason's right hand beginning a little suspect. He's got a slight swelling coming up underneath the right eye of Lewis's left jab. Mason's right. From Lewis, and Lewis, for all the talk about his lack of experience as a pro, is certainly fighting coolly enough here, but he's hurt again by right hand, but comes instantly back. Beginning to puff a bit already. And the arms coming down and looking very ragged. Almost. Lewis. Mason now, perhaps living on borrowed time, as that eye is shutting at an alarming rate. Mason needs a KO blow here. Lewis standing there taking these punches, but he guarded against them either. And the bell stops the Mason onslaught.
After a steady opening, the British champion starts closing the distance, digging heavy shots into Lewis's body. Lewis stays composed, circling, picking his spots, and midway through the round, he lands a crisp left hook. A cut opens around Mason's right eye, the blood trickling as the young challenger starts to take control. Mason fights on, but the momentum has started to shift.
Lewis was beginning to lose his grip on it. And so much mobility that he really doesn't. Mason is very close to looking out of just one eye. Coming from Lewis. The desperation, and certainly urgency about Mason's work. That his time may be short in this fight. Motioning Mason to come on. I wish he'd get on with the job and concentrate on it instead of Mason in front of him. Mason now the man who's picking the other man off. 3 and 16-11, and they can't keep up a fast pace for too long. And that was a better round for Mason. Didn't really concentrate on his work too well in the fourth, and maybe they've told him about it. These two are splitting £276,000 tonight, equally. 40. Lewis's mouth looks quite marked. His box as though it's injured. Swollen eye, showing a lot of courage here, coming forward and trying his best here. Using his advantages again, not using his feet. He's standing within range of Mason's big punches. Earlier on, he was either circling away or else coming in very close and claiming Mason. That could turn the fight. Oh, those are brutal fight.
Get your head up, Lewis. Get your head up.
Lewis's arm's coming down again. He's clearly tired. And there's a long, long way to...
Mason, sensing the urgency, tries to turn up the pressure, looking for a breakthrough. But Lewis sharpens up, his jab snapping Mason's head back, his right hand punishing the wounded eye. The challenger starts taking over, faster, sharper, and landing at will. Mason's punch is slow, his defense fades, and the gap between them grows wider with every exchange.
Face of Mason, and a good short, sharp right from Lewis. A knockout punch pretty quickly. Lewis not working. The pair of them now looking pretty weary, and it's hardly surprising the way they've been at each other now for nearly 6 rounds. And Mason had to back off and stop attacking because of the punches coming his way in Mason's work now. And again he's picked off with sharp, piercing, cutting punches. The left jab of Lewis. And Mason's beginning to take too many punches in that battered face. Oh, I had a good close look at it there, and I think he's going to have to make his mind up pretty shortly. And Mason's got some blood on the left eye now as well. Mason looks like a man working in slow motion now. Courage can sustain him here. He's taking too madly hurt. He screwed his face up in pain, and I really do think this is going to have to be brought to an end in a minute. But Mason is having one last desperate go in round 7. He's putting everything into a do-or-die effort. And it's called off.
Lennox Lewis didn't just beat Gary Mason that night, he took the first true step toward heavyweight greatness, setting a course that would soon make him one of the most dominant champions the sport had ever seen. Are you part of the old school boxing faithful? If so, we'd love to hear your thoughts on the fight. Thank you for watching.